Welcome to our discussion hosted by HRC in partnership with Martin Aitken Chartered Accountants. I am delighted to be joined by Gavin Kerr, who is Associate Director of Audit and Accounts, and he is also heavily involved in the Corporate Finance team and Business Advisory Department. We will be discussing digital transformation in accounting. I'm sure we can all agree that over the course of 2020, we've seen acceleration and transformation that we would have otherwise waited years to come onto the market. So, Gavin, thank you for joining me. Please tell me more about Martin Aitken's digital offering.
Okay, well, our digital offering covers quite a lot of things, from anything from bookkeeping all the way up to detailed advisory work. We have an internal business services team, which covers all manner of bookkeeping, VAT returns, management accounts for clients, and that then transitions into wider projects for virtual finance functions and system implementations, and leads on to the kind of more standard things such as forecasting, projections. This is an area that's obviously developed quite rapidly over the last probably 5 years. A lot of things have happened, a lot of developments with things being digital. A lot of that was probably driven by HMRC with their Making Tax Digital programme. And that has sort of pushed people into making things more digital and taking the leap, as we would say. The biggest thing though is the streamline and the efficiency that you get from using a kind of digital solution in the cloud, and it's very much the way things are going to go forward. In terms of what else we do, we offer training, support, different sorts of programs and applications that load into standard kind of bookkeeping packages. We also offer training and support for specific forecasting, projection tools, whether that's for if you're going out for investment or you're looking for a loan or for any sort of other business plan. And that's probably in a nutshell the main things that Martin Aitken can do, but there's obviously offshoots of that, which I think we'll probably go into more detail just later on.
Okay, great stuff. So as you said, digitalisation within practice has really covered ground in the last 5 years. So what would be next for Martin Aitken in terms of maybe improving efficiencies or that data management at different levels?
I think probably it's about continued expansion. We're in an age now where there's constantly programs and applications being developed to ultimately all to increase efficiency, streamline activities, and just allow people to spend more time on their business. And if we can assist clients with that, great. And obviously any sort of financial package, it needs to work for your business. Now, obviously the kind of main programs out there aren't bespoke systems as such, but they have a lot of practical use, different elements, so they are well suited to a lot of different businesses. And I think the kind of where things are going to go, it's going to be more about consolidating that and getting people more to just understanding and believing more in the digital side. I think when it initially started, there was a lot of apprehension and a lot of people resistant to change. Certainly clients that we've had that have moved over to it who were historically doing a kind of older style, doing it manually, all very much like the new way of working, and it's definitely saved them time.
Yeah, no, looking back, I think we've all been given a sort of gentle nudge this year towards more digitalisation as well, whether we planned on it or not.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think from a client point of view, we've kind of seen that there's been clients have not been in their offices, or they've been restricted, and people have been all over the place, staff working at home, and using a digital system is just so beneficial for that. Using some sort of manual system or even a package which is just it's not based in the cloud, it's just on a desktop unit, it's just not worked this year. And certainly the businesses which were prepared and were already using kind of digital services on the cloud, definitely put them in a better position. And certainly from our business as well, internally, we've obviously adopted certain digital products for the way we do things, and that's been hugely beneficial for us with staff members working at home for the last kind of 8 to 9 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. I suppose if you're that wee bit more agile and paperless as well, then it would have been an easier transition, certainly. I think I would love to hear a wee bit more about some of the specifics that you've done for clients, and maybe a wee bit more on bespoke offerings as well that people might not necessarily be overly familiar with right now.
Okay, so Martin Aitken we are a Zero Platinum partner, which is the effectively the top rating that you can get from the Zero accounting service. That is our kind of chosen method of, our chosen accounting system, and that's certainly what we would recommend to clients. Any new or existing clients, we would recommend that they move on to Zero. That's the one that all our staff are trained in. We're fully up to speed with, and we use that as a platform to build on, both to build the client system and help them, but also it's a good link into what we do and the way we work, and it just streamlines the whole process. Yeah. And in terms of passing that on to people, we have, as I say, we're well versed in using it. So we do client training sessions. Probably that would have been done in person before, but there's no harm in it being done digitally, and we have done a few digital ones now. The benefits of sharing a screen are very good.
Yeah.
We also offer what we call a migration service. So if you're on a different package and you're looking to move to Zero, we will do a full migration over, including your kind of prior year information, just so that you retain your kind of prior year comparatives for management reports purposes and stuff. But from a kind of wider point of what we do, I mean, the bookkeeping is obviously at the forefront of it. But our kind of other side of the business, kind of moving into the more advisory side, it's probably two elements to it. We have a systems element, so that encompasses everything from a digital health check that we'll do. We'll have a look at what you've got internally, how you're doing things, such as wider than just your accounting system, your accounting, your payroll, any job management, depending on what you do, timesheets, etc., holidays even. Anything that we can potentially link together. There's a lot of support apps which can be linked in to the accounting system, and it all just aids to the efficiency.
Right.
The other element is, as I say, the other side of the advisory tool is around projections and forecasts. There's a lot of good applications out there which link directly into things like Zero, and that helps. It helps us prepare. It helps us help the client prepare projections for whatever they need. But the good thing is you're working with live information. So if you've got a year's projection, you can monitor it as you go forward because it's constantly live information. So once you're, say, 3 months into the year, you can have a look and say, well, how did I perform against those 3 months? Coronavirus aside, obviously that's going to have a different impact. But as a general kind of projection tool, it's good to look at it live, because certainly using the historical method of bookkeeping and stuff, you wouldn't have been able to do that. Certainly maybe for high level numbers like sales and stuff, but actually getting into the main body of your overheads and things like that, that was very difficult to do. So that, along with things like even just, I mean, putting it towards kind of COVID side, people have been using these kind of tools for the CBILS loans, and some of them have done a kind of mini exercise for the bounce back loans. And I mean, despite everything that's going on at the moment, we still have clients that are potentially looking for investment, or they're looking to raise a different sort of kind of finance. So the projection tools have been great, and I mean, they're so user friendly, very similar to Zero in that they're actually made for the non-accountant.
Right.
Historically, these systems would have been quite difficult to use. We have certain elements where clients do some of it themselves, and then we go in and make some final changes and do a sort of review of it. So in terms of what we do, I mean, it's quite broad, and we can broadly look at quite a lot of things related to the finance system and how you can improve it and improve the efficiencies within your business.
Excellent. I mean, it certainly sounds that once you've adopted this way of working, the functionality of it and gains are just going to keep building momentum there.
Absolutely, and I think, I mean, none of us know really what's going to happen over the next few years, but just the kind of increased use of artificial intelligence and just the number of new programs that are coming to the market every week or every month. There's always ways that we can improve things, and digital is definitely the way forward, and it's going to continue on that basis. I mean, the fact that you can take a photograph of an invoice on your phone or a receipt, and it ends up in your accounting system with the VAT already analysed. It just, small things like that, it make a big difference over the course of a year and 2 years and stuff. So it does save a lot of time, and it lets your finance staff actually get into the more nitty gritty. Because one of the most common things we always found, depending on the type of clients, was when you actually ask the client, how much are you making in that piece of work? They didn't know. But now we have programs and applications that let you track that easier and quicker. And with the overall kind of efficiencies that are gained elsewhere, staff members have got more time to look at that data and actually see, well, are we making money on a specific piece of work? And if not, why not? And that probably is the biggest question that we pose to people, that there wasn't an answer all the time, was they didn't know why they hadn't made money on things. So with the way things are going now, there's definitely a way to do this now. And it's going to keep going. It's wider than anything to do with Making Tax Digital. I think Making Tax Digital was just a catalyst in the overall process, and it's very much went beyond that now.
Okay, brilliant. That leads me on to my next question, where I'm going to push a wee bit. In your opinion, what do you see as being next for digitalisation within practice within accounting?
Oh, well, and as an internal point, obviously moving everything paperless, we as a firm are just about there with that, but I know of other firms who are not quite there. That's, as we move probably towards a more blended approach to working from home, working to the office, once things get back to normal, that's going to be a massive gain, having that online. From an external point for clients, I think, just as I mentioned in the kind of previous point there, just the continuous development of programs, add-ins, applications, the artificial intelligence and the way things are being analysed, and the reports that you can get from things, all that's going to continue to develop and continue to give value back for not a lot of input, because the system will do a lot of it for you in the background. That's probably the kind of short term. More longer term, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, obviously there are changes coming wider than Making Tax Digital in terms of income tax and corporation tax, and how HMRC monitor your business from that sense. But ultimately, that will be the same system. But certainly, just the push on into more digital efficiency is probably the best way to do it.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and all your insights. So we'll leave it there for today until the next one. If you've enjoyed the content, then please feel free to follow either HRC or Martin Aitken and Co on LinkedIn. And if you'd like to get in touch with either myself or Gavin, then feel free to reach out over the usual channels. Thank you.
Thank you.